Fourth episode opens in the middle of the night, at the foot of Antoine's bed, where Harry is looming. Upon dragging Bella's double-crossing business client from his slumber, Harry threatens him with a week's stay in intensive care unless he gives up the memory sticks containing the incriminating footage of Bella's dad. Of course, Harry gets what he came for. Following the credits, we get an update on last episode's Archie-exhuming cliffhanger. Conrad gets a call from the Undertaker, telling him his old friend has been dug up by the police. The Harrigan patriarch delivers the bad news to Mave and tells her there must be a mole among their close-knit clan. Conrad claims only he and Harry knew where Archie's body was hidden, but adamantly insists that his fixer is not the rat. Meanwhile, Harry checks in on his family, who he still has hidden on a houseboat. Jan and Gina are understandably not happy with him, so he invites the former outside for some sun and a spot of tea. He gives his wife the Cliff's Notes take on everything he's been dealing with, from Conrad killing Archie to Eddie having Tommy chopped into tiny pieces. He concludes the terrifying laundry list with the good news that he may have secured a room for Maria's mom at the nursing home. Jan's happy about that last bit, but otherwise would prefer to remain in the dark on the dirty details of Harry's day-to-day duties. She also just wants to go home. Harry tells her to pack her bags. Later that day, the couple's complicated relationship is further explored at their therapy session, which Jan attends by herself. Frustrated with Harry and their marital woes, she opens up to the therapist about his two families. She never mentions the Harrigans by name, but speaks of their infamy. She also comes to the conclusion that Harry always puts his other family first. To her point, Harry is currently at the yard with Kevin Harrigan, rather than attending the therapy appointment with his wife. Harry and Kev are anxiously awaiting word from Richie, who was last seen torturing the patsy that was set up to take the fall for Tommy's murder. While they wonder about the possible outcomes, Harry gets a call from Zosia. She's just been visited by a mysterious mate named Donnie, who claims to be a friend of Harry's. He says he wants to share some good news with him. Zosia denies knowing Harry. The man leaves his number, and she takes a pic of him on her phone. When she shares the snap with Harry, he claims he doesn't know Donnie. While Harry and Kevin continue to kill time waiting to hear from Richie, Harry mentions Rusby, the prison guard he recognized at the nursing home. He asks Kevin if he remembers him from their time in the joint, where they first met. Kevin has a quick flashback of Rusby beating him, but denies remembering him to Harry. The conversation shifts to Kevin's wife Bella, and why she doesn't like going to the Harrigan estate. It turns out Bella, before she met her husband, was one of Conrad's many, but favorite mistresses. When Maeve found out about her, Conrad broke it off, but introduced her to his son Kevin. After Kev drops that bombshell on Harry, the two laugh over the fact that that's far from the worst thing Conrad has ever done. When we return to Jan, she's texting her new friend Alice, who we haven't seen since they met in episode 1. The two grab coffee, then upgrade to wine at Jan and Harry's house. But Jan is being followed by Paul, one of Conrad's henchmen, per his boss's request. Paul calls Conrad to tell him what Jan is up to. Meanwhile, Jan and Alice are discussing their husbands' professions. Jan says that Harry works as a security consultant with a family business. Their girls' chat is soon interrupted by a knock at the door. It's Conrad, wanting to speak with Jan. Caught off guard, Jan invites him in, while politely inviting her friend to leave. To Jan's surprise, Conrad gets personal, revealing he's aware of her marital problems. She uncomfortably responds, talking about Harry's two families, much as she did with the couple's therapist. Conrad agrees Harry is like a son to him, but also insists that Harry needs his other family. He then inappropriately puts his hand on Jan's knee and, rather forcefully, tells her to ask him what they have in common. When she finally poses the question, he replies, "We both love Harry." He then stares her in the eyes and sternly tells her to never discuss anything about her husband outside of the family. Before he leaves with a wink and a smile, he orders her to not tell Harry about their little meeting. Mave is serving her beloved grandson Eddie an enormous English breakfast when he asks her, "Was it a mistake, what we did?" She responds, "We've got everyone exactly where we want them." It seems she ordered Eddie to kill Tommy to send a message to the Stevensons. As Conrad, who's gotten soft in his old age, according to his wife, pulls up outside, Maeve tells her grandson that they're about to send another message to Richie. When Harry returns home, he asks Jan about the marriage counseling session. Specifically, he wants to know if his wife talks to the therapist about the Harrigans. He tells her she can't go to the appointments anymore, lest Conrad find out. She then reveals that Conrad paid her a visit, which Harry does not take well. "Do you have any idea what you've fucking done?" he says before informing Jan that Conrad is more dangerous than the Taliban. But based on the next scene, Harry doesn't know half of the trouble Jan's caused. Her friend Alice is descending a dimly lit stairway. When she reaches the bottom, Detective Fisk is waiting. He greets her with a good job as well as plenty of enthusiasm over her unexpected encounter with Conrad at Jan's house. He wants her to get closer to him, but she pumps the brakes. Harry next heads to Bella's hotel room. He brings her the memory sticks he forcefully took back from Antoine and tells her the deal is dead. But despite the little blackmailing hiccup, she still wants to move forward. She tells Harry he's overstepping, then dials up Antoine to get the deal back on track. On his way out, Harry runs into Kevin, who's on his way to see his wife. Bella's husband is a bit suspicious, but seems to buy it when Harry says he was just trying to help out, urging her to stay at the Harrigan mansion with the rest of the family. When Kevin arrives at Bella's room, she offers a different reason for Harry's visit. Her husband again seems suspicious, but ultimately just wants Bella to come with him to his parents' house. She's a bit cold toward him, responding, "You know I can't. I need some time." On Kevin's drive home, his thoughts turn back to Rusby. In another, more revealing flashback, we learn the prison guard raped young Kevin. With the episode in the home stretch, we check in with Harry one more time. He's been summoned to the Sinful Monkey by Richie, who's apparently come to a decision about who's responsible for his son's brutal murder. When Harry arrives, he's surprised to learn that the club manager he pinned Tommy's killing on is still alive. But Richie has intentionally kept him clinging to life so he could task Harry with finishing him off. Stevenson wants to watch Harry kill the man, then let his gut instinct decide who's guilty. Richie hands Harry a pistol, but the fixer gives it back. He instead breaks a hammer in two before using its jagged wooden handle to repeatedly stab the manager. As Harry staggers away from what's left of his victim, Richie seems satisfied, but the Harrigans aren't getting off that easy. "Oh, Harry," Richie casually says, "there's one other thing." The episode's final scene finds Harry safely in his car. He calls Kevin to tell him Richie bought the ruse. As Kevin is celebrating and praising Harry, the fixer reveals the one other thing. Richie wants the Harrigans to go to Tommy's funeral, he tells him. Kevin yells, "Fuck off," before all the joy drains from his face.